Morning, you guys. I thought I would come and do another ironing catch up because this morning it's literally like the tramadol has kicked in and I need to get this pile of ironing done or a video, and I'm like, so I can do both, and it is really handy that way. Although I know it's not really talking about anything beauty, is it? I promise you there will be beauty talk coming. I want to do a favourites, and I think I'm ready to do an empties, so those two videos need to be done soon. But there's just so much going on at the moment, and my head has been so bad, unfortunately. I've booked another injection in my neck in no, it's not end of September, it's the beginning of October. So in fact it's on our wedding anniversary, so I'm having another injection because I do feel like that worked. I wasn't sure at the time, but looking back I was doing much better than I am now, so we're going to try it again. I'm going to a different place, and the woman I'm going to, puts steroid into the injection, so I'm hopeful that it will work better and last longer. So I have got a big pile of ironing because I'm also ironing Kev's dad's stuff because he is unfortunately back in hospital. See, if the people that say they don't iron, what do you do with shirts then? Do you just not have any shirts to iron, I guess? Kev didn't wear shirts when he was at his last job, and oh my god, the ironing was so much easier. I think that's the problem, because he now has to dress smart. You know, he's in a shirt and tie and a suit. I've got all the shirts to iron, and he always says he would do them. You know, he's quite good like that. He says thank you and thanks for that. You know, and I think that's all you ever want, isn't it? You just want somebody to say thanks for doing that, and then you don't mind doing it. You know, because I've kind of always done it for him, and he's always said, "Oh, I can do it. Do you want me to do some ironing?" You know, and I'm like, no. I quite like doing that, you know. But yeah, his dad is in hospital, sadly. And funny thing about that is, last time he was in hospital, I was speaking to my sister and I was saying to her that I was, you know, ironing stuff for him, stuff for Bryce. And my sister was like, ironing what? Like, is he not just wearing pyjamas? And I was like, no, he's definitely not. He is a gentleman, you know. That's always how I think of him. He's a smart gentleman. And like Kev was telling me, he's never seen him in anything that hasn't got a collar, and so his kind of, this is his idea of casual wear, you know, is what do you call these, a polo shirt, and so he gets dressed every single day, or you know, the carers get him dressed, but he has always done that, even to just sit around at home. I suppose it's like us putting makeup on, there's no need for it, but my sister couldn't believe it, and I was like, you know what, if it was me, I wouldn't be wearing a shirt, that's for sure. I wouldn't be wearing anything with a collar. I would be wearing pyjamas. But when I think back to when I was in hospital when I was 19 for about 2 months, and I don't think I wore anything. Like, well, obviously I wasn't naked, but I was wearing the hospital gown, but I don't think I had any of my own clothes. But most of the time I was, you know, just sort of lying there, trying to make myself drink plain water. So I'm having it in a little glass because I've always liked small things. I've told you this before, I used to collect miniature toiletries, you know, and stuff like that. And I just can cope with everything in life if it's in small bits. And so if I'm really overwhelmed by anything, like information or what to do next or a project, I just think, right, what's just the smallest step? I even used to do it with going to the gym. I used to think, well, you don't have to get to the gym and get to the car. Why don't you just put your gym clothes on and then see how you feel? And, you know, if you don't feel like going to the gym, you can do a workout at home, that kind of thing. Do it in small stages. And so I love this little glass. It's my little Bailey's glass. But I was like, you know, I don't like plain water. I've never liked plain water, but I thought I really want to start drinking plain water because I'm drinking so much water at the minute, but it's the flavoured water, and you know, that's not good with all those sweeteners. So this is how I'm doing it, but I'm constantly filling up this glass. This is 250 ml, so you know, 4 of these is a litre. So, you know, it does work because I'm like, this is much easier to drink than a great big glass, you know. My nail avulsion surgery, I think, has gone well. It's under here in a plaster, but it's looking much better. I think in another week I'll be able to take, a week at the latest, I'll be able to take the dressing off. And I think it's going to look a little bit different because it's skinnier than the others, but I'm really happy. I'm happy with how it looks. So I think that was worth it, you know. Watson is doing okay, but he's doing okay insofar as his wound is healed. He was signed off. He's I wouldn't say he's back to normal, but we think that's because of his leg. He's now got this limp. Now he's got arthritis in his elbows, so we know that it's that causing it, because it's that typical kind of pain when he gets up from lying down. He limps for about the first minute or two, and then he's fine, and he's actually been running around. And so, you know, he wouldn't be doing that if it was something else. That's a typical arthritis thing. The problem is how to treat it, because, you know, there is a drug that actually our vet was going to put us on, or put Watson on, and thank God she didn't, because she now says she wouldn't, just because now it's been used for, it's Librela, by the way, if anybody's got pets. Librela was the thing. I've heard loads of people tell amazing stories about their dogs being so much better on that. And Alex was for it, but then she said to me, no, we're not going to do Librela. And I was like, oh my God, what's happened? And she said, there's just so many cases now of that. I thought it was going to be like, you know, dogs having seizures and things, because that's what I'd read about it. But she said, no, there's all these cases where the arthritis has actually got worse on Librela. And I was like, oh my God, okay, so we're not doing that. He can't have anti-inflammatories. They don't have tramadol at their surgery now, which is really weird. They've stopped doing it. And she said because it would go out of date. Nobody was using it. No dogs were using it. And they can only order like massive quantities at vets of drugs. And she said it just wasn't getting used, and so it was a waste of money, which is fair enough. But hopefully, because tramadol is something that works for him. It's really funny because both him and I are on gabapentin and tramadol, you know. But the gabapentin is not working for him at the minute, and the tramadol does. So hopefully she can give me a prescription. But, you know, is it something he needs to do on full time? I don't know. Anyway, we're going swimming this afternoon. I've booked him some physio. So we're going to see the physio, and I don't know whether he'll be going swimming in the pool or whether he'll be going on the treadmill, but he won't like either. He does not like swimming. He won't be happy when he sees that swimming pool, and he spends a lot of time trying to escape from it. But that it definitely helps. I definitely feel like stuff like that helps. So we shall see. And then I've got the vet tomorrow. So it's a busy week. It feels like a busy week this week. I've got the vet in the afternoon tomorrow. But in the morning, I've got the vet is to find out. He's also got kidney damage, which we discovered in the scans that they did to see about the cancer. So I have to go and have a couple more tests. They're non-invasive, just like his blood pressure, and I have to take an early morning pee sampling, that kind of thing. What was I going to tell you? I've got the hairdressers in the morning. Oh my God, I booked it ages ago. And when I first booked it, I was like, right, I'm going to get a bob, because I've wanted a bob again, a short bob, like up to here. I've wanted that for years. I have had it before. I've had that kind of hairstyle before and enjoyed it. But I feel like, I said this before, I feel like it only suits me when I'm a thinner weight. You know, not when I'm big, because it just makes my face look rounder, and my face doesn't look as round now. So it might actually help, you know. But I'm just going backwards and forwards. So I don't know what I'll look like next time I see you. I don't know whether I'll have had a short haircut or not. I definitely need to have some of this hair cut off. I do like it this length. You guys have been so complimentary, and I do like it this length, but I find it hard to deal with this length. It takes so much longer to dry. When I'm curling it takes longer. I have to hold my arm up for longer, and my elbows hurt, you know. It's getting, like when I put my coat on, it's getting caught, and I have to like pull my hair. I just find it difficult to manage. So I'm definitely going to have it up to, I'm thinking like maybe there. So maybe I'm thinking like maybe there, about there. I'm going to say at least 4 inches off. I don't think I really want like this graduated bob I had once as well, which was really short, like shaved at the back. And then I'd be able to grow out my undercut, because that is just a nightmare to grow out, and it looks so messy. See it? I don't know. But I want to tell you about my driving list. I want to tell you about my driving license, because somebody left a comment. Was it you, Joanne? Was it Joanne? I don't know. Somebody left a comment saying that you must have a license, or are you sure you didn't have a license, because you wouldn't get insurance without it. And so therefore, if you didn't have insurance, you'd be a double criminal. And I was like, oh, as soon as I read that, I was like, oh my God, what? But I have got insurance. I know I've got insurance, and I've got my insurance certificate. So, and I've had the same insurance for many, many years. And actually, it's been really expensive the last 2 years, because I had an incident. I can't really call it an accident, but I hit the column, one of the concrete columns in our basement car park, and seriously damaged the car. I couldn't drive it. So I'm on an automatic renewal, and I know it's been costing me a lot since then, but because of how well they dealt with the accident, like they sent me out a hire car immediately, and compared to what Kev had to deal with, he was with, I think, Admiral at the time. Oh, it was a frigging nightmare. Believe it or not, he did exactly the same thing. He hit his car on one of the concrete columns as well. But he did it forwards and slipped in the rain. I did it just because I was in a rush, which was ridiculous. But my premiums were crazy. So it's like immediately I know I've got insurance because they went up really high, but I kept it because of how well they dealt with the incident. And I knew that it would come down quickly, the year after, which it has. And the year after now, again, I've just renewed it. So yeah, I was like, no, I did get insurance. So maybe I do have a driving license. So I looked up my driving license again, definitely expired in 2021. And I was talking to Kev about it, and Kev is definitely one for following the rules. And he's like, right, well, not only does your insurance would not be valid because you have to have a valid driving license. And I was like, but why have they renewed it then? Because nobody's ever asked me, do you have a driving license? But what he said was, it will be in the small print somewhere on the renewal that, this is on the basis that that nothing has changed. I don't even remember. Well, I didn't tick anything because I literally got a letter through the post saying your insurance will renew on such and such a date. It was in August. It was recently. And I thought, oh, great. I don't have to do anything. It wasn't even like you need to go in and tick this box. But I guess the small print must say that this is if you have a license, you have to have a full license. So Kev was like, so now you've also committed fraud because you claimed. And I was like, oh my God. I'm so worried about it, which is a bit ridiculous because I'm not going to go to jail for it, am I? But Kev said, well, you could lose your license. Surely they wouldn't consider it fraud because I think he was trying to wind me up actually, because he then said, well, he said, I think it's not that you don't have a license, it's that you have to have a photo card to prove that you have a license. So I have a license, but the photo card has expired. And so I need to have a photo card to prove that I've got a license. So I think it's not too bad. I think Kev looked it up on the internet while we were chatting. So I was like, oh my God, what's going to happen, And at that point, that was last week, I was like, right, well, I've got to drive to the vet. So should I not be driving my car? But then he said, well, go and have a look up because I've renewed my driving license now. My passport arrived and I renewed my driving license online. And thankfully it said you will have a driving license from this date. And it was the following day, which that does make you think that you do need that license, doesn't it? That, my license is therefore not valid because I don't have... Anyway, do you know what? It looks like I might have been doing stuff that I shouldn't have. I wasn't doing it willingly. Kev says that's no excuse. He's probably right. He's like, no, it's your responsibility to make sure you've got a driving license. But I was like, why did nobody remind me? Why didn't I get a reminder? Kev said he got a reminder because he's not the type of person that would remember or put it. I'm not going to put 10 years into my calendar. Isn't it 10 years you get? I'm not going to put in 10 years' time in my calendar, remember to renew your driving license. I just assume it would come up at some point, and somebody would ask me. Anyway, the photo card is renewed. I've got my passport. The photo card will be here in 2 weeks, they said. So, that was only last week. So we'll see. But it's all sorted and I'm legal now, thank God. I wanted to ask you about this situation with a cat where I was, I think, too nice. Do you ever do this? Do you ever do something and you think, why am I saying sorry for that? Or why did I do that? It wasn't even my fault. It wasn't my fault, but I was saying sorry for it because I was out with Watson and Watson was on the lead. And there's a whole load of cats moved into this area, which is kind of frustrating because Watson he's terrified of cats. And, dogs and cats don't get on, do they? But he used to get on with cats until one swiped at him at the vet. And since then, he's been terrified and he goes mental. He barks and howls and, goes all stiff. Anyway, there's a lot of cats moved in. And this one woman lets her cats out. She just opens the door. And she lets the cats roam around. And I think they don't go too far from her. I remember my neighbours have got cats, but I think we don't see them too often. But I was walking Watson. I went round the corner and I was like, uh-oh, cat. And it was on the public bit. It wasn't on her patio. It was in the public pathway right in front of us. So, of course, Watson saw it and barked. And went, he's on lead. I'm holding him back. And the cat just ran and jumped up onto her patio and went into this woman's house. And I went, oh no, oh sorry, Poppet, to the cat I was talking to. And I was like, well, I hope she's okay. I mean, she only ran away, And I said to the woman was just looking really, really stern. And I said to her, I have tried training him, we've got cats next door. I'm trying to train him. And she went, tutted at me, didn't acknowledge that I'd said sorry. And I walked on. But as I walked on, I was thinking, wait a minute, what am I apologising for? What did I actually do wrong, you know? I mean, I wasn't apologising to her. I was apologising because I don't like that the cat might have been scared. I don't know the cat, and she didn't like run after the cat to see if it was all right. So I'm assuming it's fine. And the cat just ran away from Watson. Nothing happened. But why was she tutting at me? Like, why was she tutting at me? And I hate it when things like that happen, because I think to myself, well, what was I doing wrong? And then I was annoyed that I had said sorry to her because she wasn't very nice about it. And I do that all the time. Like, I'll, hold a door open for somebody. And then if they don't say thank you, I feel like saying, oh, I wish I'd never bothered, But I feel like I'm too nice in life, even though many people would be surprised at that, because I will say, if somebody did something to Watson, then I would definitely have something to say about it, and I wouldn't be shy, But in general, I'm too nice, and I wanted to find out if you guys do that, or is it just me? And how do you stop doing that? Because I really want to go back and say to that woman, I take my apology back. The apology is to the cat, not you. But stop tutting at me. There was no need for you to tut. What is it you wanted me to do? Because he's on lead. What else could I do? And I've tried training him, but even if I hadn't, like, dogs bark at cats. So yeah, tell me what you think. And the other thing that I was noticing is that I'm a bit of a hoarder, I think. And my dad was a hoarder in that he always had to have, wait until you hear this, he always had to have 6 of everything in stock. So like, he had a whole cupboard and there was 6, this is what I found when I was clearing out after he died, 6 shake and vacs. I mean, I suppose you do use them quite quickly, but so there was also in his bathroom, there was always 6 shower gels and 6 shampoos, and he always had to have room for storage wherever he went, because I'm saying that he wasn't a hoarder in that he wasn't one of those that you'd see on telly where you have to climb over things, but he liked to have a lot in just in case. And he was terrible in COVID, because I was doing his shopping. And do you remember it got to a point where you were only allowed 3 of everything? I think it was 3. It was either 3 or 4. Anyway, I was on the phone to my dad and I was going, right, I was asking him questions about the list that he'd given me, and I was like, right, how many do you want? How many of these butters? And it was the huge butter. 3. 3? Yes, want 3. And every time I said, Dad, well, I just get 3 of everything. And he was like, yes, get 3 of everything. He really wanted to, he really panics when he didn't have enough food in. And I wasn't like that, actually. So I'm saying I'm a hoarder and I take after my dad, but I wasn't like that in COVID. In fact, the opposite. At one point I said to Kev, we've got loads of stuff in the cupboard that I've not used. So let's look at everything in the cupboard and the freezer and see how many meals we can get so that we don't have to go shopping, and I think I managed to get like 10 meals or something ridiculous. But I think I was noticing it with clothes this morning, because they say you only wear 20% of your wardrobe. I feel like that's true, but I don't know how you stop doing that. And is that, it's not a bad thing, but like I'd have so much more space if I only had the clothes that I wore. Now, there's a little bit of an exception, because I have got things that are now too big for me, and I keep them like a pair of jeans just in case I put the weight back on. And there's quite a big chance of that, because I do put weight on and lose it quite quickly. And I've also got things that are too small for me that I hope to fit into, and you probably shouldn't keep those. But, because I've got this dress that I used to wear. Oh, I just adore it, and I used to wear it all the time. But it doesn't fit me now, and actually I don't know where I'd wear it to. Well, I suppose I'd wear it to the same place as I did before, going out to dinner with Kev. But yeah, it doesn't fit me, and I don't know if I'll ever be small enough to fit in it. But yeah, do you do that? Because let me tell you that what sparked it was my knickers. Because obviously I've done all of this washing, and I was sorting all the washing out and putting my knickers in a pile here. And I went and put my knickers away, and I probably took 10 pairs through. And I was like, I've got another 20 pairs in this drawer, And by the way, this is just black knickers. I suppose I only really wear black knickers. But so I've got like 30 pairs of knickers, and I probably don't need 30 pairs of knickers. And if I only kept 10 pairs of knickers in there, I'd be able to combine it with the drawer for the bras, because that's probably got the same amount in it. And I only wear a couple of those as well. I'd have so much more room, and I really want to be less cluttered. I really want to be less cluttered. but I don't seem to be able to. I'm trying to sort things out, you know, and I look at that and I think, what will I do? Will I just throw all the knickers out and keep 10? And then I'll just have to make sure I wash them, you know, that I do the washing regularly, which I do. I mean, I've never not done it. So there'll be knickers in the bottom that never get worn. But yeah, let me know if you do the same kind of thing. I am now officially post-menopausal. Woohoo. I'm so happy. I don't know why I'm so happy, because I'm not sure what to do about the whole HRT thing and if that's even going to be a solution. But I am hoping that it helps with my migraines. Now, since being officially postmenopausal, my migraine has been bad. But it does say it can take up to a year for the hormones to kind of level out after being postmenopausal. But I also know that to get a benefit from HRT, you should take it within, I think it's 1 to 2 years of being postmenopausal. That's where you get the most benefit. I think it's particularly towards the heart, and that's one of the things that I really wanted to take it for, you know, for the heart protection. I also wanted to take it for the insomnia, which thankfully isn't too bad at the moment, so that's not a rush. And I wanted to take it for the hot flushes, which I am getting more. I've had more in the last week or so. It's hard to tell in summer, isn't it? I don't know whether you find that. It's hard to tell whether it's a hot flush or it's just hot, you know? So I'm not sure what to do about HRT, because I had a look through my medications. I've got a big box of medicines in the kitchen, and I looked through all that and sorted that all out. And I've still got patches. I've got 16 patches, so enough for probably 3 months, isn't it? 16 patches times 3, 30, 48. Yeah, it's enough for probably a month anyway. And I've got Utrogestan tablets that you can either take as tablets or you can use as a suppository. And yeah, I'm not sure what to do. I now feel a bit scared to take it, because any change in hormones can also cause a migraine, you know. And if my migraines are hormonal, which honestly it's not something I've ever noticed, because my GP, when I said, oh, my neurologist said it could get a lot better post-menopause, she said, have you noticed it being attached to your periods? Like, as in, is it better or worse with periods? And I was like, no, I didn't notice that because I've had 4 years of it being daily. So how could I notice it being anything to do with periods, you know? But that does make me think that maybe it's not hormonal at all. But I do just want to give HRT one more go and see if that could help. It does help people. I've seen reviews where people have said that their migraines have stopped within days of taking it, you know. Now, that didn't work for me before, but I feel like it was the up and down of the hormones rather than it not helping, because I was on the cyclical one where you had to take progesterone for a certain amount of days as well. And I think that upset things. So I don't know, I've got them there and I really want to try them. And then if they work, I will go to the GP and say, right, okay, let me try HRT again, you know, and get it properly prescribed. But yeah, I don't know, because my headache's bad at the minute. And so the chances are I could make it even worse, you know. Kev says you just need to pick like a month and accept that things might be worse. I've got customers now. Accept that things might be worse, you know. And then I know if it doesn't work, when you stop estrogen, that can cause a migraine. I mean, if it works, then it will be great, because I just then get onto the GP and hopefully get it prescribed without too much of a fight. You just never know with the GPs nowadays, do you? But and then everything will be dandy. But if it doesn't work for me, if there is any problems or it makes my headaches worse like it did last time, then I need to stop it. And then the headaches get even worse again, because the drop in estrogen can cause a migraine. So if the drop in estrogen just now from being postmenopausal is what's causing it to be bad, then I should be okay. So I'm sorry, that is a big ramble. I did want to ask if any of my women on here are postmenopausal. Do you get postmenopausal bleeding? Have you ever had that? I suppose if you do, you go straight to the doctor. I only know this because I've had lots of heavy bleeding incidents. If you've been with me, you'll know this. I've had lots and lots of heavy bleeding incidents. And they always ask if I'm postmenopausal. But yet they always sent me for a womb biopsy. I had 3 womb biopsies in the end. But they said it is more of a concern if you're postmenopausal. And so I know if that happens, I'm going to have to go and have another blooming womb biopsy. And I will do, because a friend of ours, it's actually You've probably seen videos of Watson playing with his girlfriend, the white husky doodle, over the years, and her mum has womb cancer, and she has had a hysterectomy. Sorry, she had womb cancer years ago. She's actually currently got breast cancer, bless her. Imagine, like, she had the hysterectomy, got over the womb cancer, and then now gets breast cancer. And her mum died of breast cancer. Anyway, she's currently going through chemo. She's lost a lot of her hair and whatnot. We were talking wigs the other day, but yeah, I would definitely go for the scan, because that's how she found it. I think she was like 57 or something, because it was a couple of years ago, and she, had some irregular bleeding, got a scan, and it was womb cancer. She didn't need chemo for that, which was good. Oh, I took my Manjaro yesterday. Now it's going up in price this week, isn't it? But I took my Manjaro, and I've actually put weight on this week. I've put 1 pound on this week. So it just shows you that I definitely need to be on a higher level. I'm not really sure why I've put weight on, because I feel like I had a couple of days where I didn't even have my breakfast. I've not had breakfast today. I'm just not hungry, and I ended up just having my shake at lunchtime, and I didn't have whatever it was I planned to have for lunch. I can feel the effects of it. I still do think it's working. So it's obviously just, it shows you even when it works, it's down to your choices. It's down to what I'm eating being high calorie, because what we had for dinner on Saturday, and then I weighed myself on Sunday, was a cashew noodles, cashew stir fry, and cashew nuts are very calorific, and I had to put money on them being way more than if we have chicken, because we have chicken one week and then cashew noodles the other week, so that I get my vegetarian option that I like, but there's a lot of calories in it, so things like that won't help you. Noodles themselves are pretty calorific, aren't they? Egg noodles. I'm not due to go up for another. I've got another 2 injections on this. I'm on the 10 milligrams, and then I'll go up to 12 milligrams. So I'll probably order that this week. I suppose I should try and order it before the prices go up, and find out when the prices go up. It's just, oh my God, it's such a pain to order it, because you have to go through this whole questionnaire about what you eat and how much you measure around your waist and what you weigh, and agree to all this. It's quite a thing, and then you have to do this photo, a live photo, which takes ages to get right, so it is a bit of a pain, but I do understand that it needs to be a bit like that, doesn't it? Because I don't want to make it too easy. Doesn't want to be like just adding something to your Amazon basket, does it? I'm so over ironing shirts. I'm really fed up with it. I'm just going to iron some easy things next, so that I get the pile down a bit, I think. But I have rambled enough, and I'm going to stop. I'm going to have a little cup of tea break, and then I'm going to come back and try and get the bulk of it done, and I'm going to watch my guilty pleasure TV while I'm doing it, which is 90 Day Fiancé. I used to watch it years ago, but do you know what stopped me? There was things on it like where animals were. There was one, it affected me so much. It was the girl that was living in Ethiopia, and they brought a goat and killed it in front of her, and she was shook up by it, and I was just like, oh no, I can't watch it anymore. Because you'd also see the fact that there were stray dogs and really thin cows, and just every time I saw it, I saw something that upset me. But this one I'm watching doesn't seem to be too bad so far. It's all in America. It's mostly in America. There's not much outside of that on it. And then I'm also watching the UK one. That's everything. Thank you so much for listening to me again. I hope I wasn't too much out of focus. I wasn't paying attention. I have got contacts in though that are working out pretty well. So I can see a bit more now in life, which is great. I still need to wear glasses for my computer though. But anyway, thank you so much for listening, and I'll speak to you again soon.